Let me see if what I can hear can be heard on the end of here as well before we start doing this officially. Oh, I mean, that just shows you how loud stuff is, man. Like, I don't get what the new fetish is with not being able to close a door, but whatever. So let me give you a couple of updates. There's a video I really want to do. It's called "What If I Was a Parent," and I was going to. My original plan was to put it out this week, and sure enough, I have most of the script written. The problem is I have been largely unable to actually record it because, as I mentioned before, I don't live alone. Um, and you have like different noises in the background that are out of my control, as is the case right now. And it just really sucks that you never get the opportunity to just do something as simple as recording a thing. And I think I'm getting to a point where I don't know where I could even go to do this. I guess maybe outside, but then you have the chance of hearing like different wind and other noises. It's just a really crappy situation, and I can't give you a release date now because I don't know when I'll be able to be alone, at least or in some capacity where there's not a noise in the background to be able to record this. I don't even really like doing this stream right now because of that over there, but I'm just again fighting more stuff that's out of my control. Also, I did a stream on Thursday that barely anybody attended, and I was really surprised by that to an extent because usually at minimum I have like 5, 6 people. I was like, we're really gonna have one person for the whole stream. But then I remembered what happened on Thursday, and it made a lot of sense. So I didn't feel as bad, even though I still think what they did was pretty nasty. I still think what they did was pretty low down. I still think what they did was pretty dreadful. I still think what they did was pretty disgusting. I still think what they did was pretty below the pale. That's very very bizarre on their end. Um, I mentioned before that during the stream on Thursday, I mentioned that I used to edit on this other wiki and how the moderator like upset me because while I don't have a problem with my stuff being deleted, if there is not a what I deem a probable cause for it, I get irritated and I don't want to bother with it anymore. And let me explain what I mean by that. When I go to a wiki, or really to any website where you're supposed to like contribute and be a part of it, I always look at the rules section. The rules tell you what they want, what they don't want, and I do this because I don't want to waste my time contributing if it's just going to get deleted for supposedly violating the rules that were there. But and I'm not going to like entirely regurgitate what was talked about on Thursday because if you want the full details, and they can just go watch the stream from Thursday. But I was really disgusted by how it just seems like these moderators, no matter how big the wiki is, no matter how few people edit it, it's like they go out of their way to just have a problem with something another person is adding to their stupid site. Like, we don't put this type of information in trivia. It's like, where was this written? This trivia should go on the actors' pages instead of the characters' pages. I'm just like, there was no rule anywhere about you couldn't put behind the scenes stuff relating to the people who portrayed these characters in their section. I mean, like, just to give you an example, the Star Wars wiki is beautiful, right? Just an example. But they know when they put behind the scenes information on the pages of the characters, people are more likely to go to the articles of the characters and the actors. So, for example, if somebody goes to Han Solo's page and they go to the behind the scenes section, they're going to hear about all the stuff Harrison Ford did playing this character. And people are more likely to see that information because people are more likely to go to Han Solo's page than Harrison Ford's. Just like with same thing with Luke, they're going to go to Luke's page and not Mark Hamill. So they're going to put behind the scenes stuff about what Mark did to play as Luke on Luke's page, which I think makes a lot of sense because they know that people are more drawn to the character than the people who play him. Um, and also, I mean, the actor is the character. They're the one that played the part. Like this, it's not like we're just describing random information about their career. Like, no, this pertains to the movie in which they depicted this character. So I was really disgusted. Like I was shocked that when I like it blindsided me when this happened on what was that Wednesday, Thursday, whichever day it was this week. It really was surprising because I was not used to like anytime I make a major edit and then it just all gets rolled back, like I was just like, what the hell? And I feel like I was vindicated in adding it. It does piss me off because like I just wrote this stuff for nothing. And of course, every time you try to confront these people, and it's one of the reasons I don't like talking to people in writing. That's why when people write stuff to me, if I address it's on a stream, like I'll read what they're writing and talk about why it's ridiculous. I really don't like talking to people in writing because they have a strong tendency to be selective in what parts of what you have written to them they choose to respond to. So, for example, I must have written 3 or 4 sentences to the guy on Wednesday, and he writes back one sentence that doesn't address how. Because before this, he had deleted something else I put, which was entirely about the character, talking about it would be better on this page than the one I put. And I'm like, it's so interesting how you say that this information is of like you concede its validity as something that should be seen somewhere, but then you also don't try to put it on those pages. Like you get where that makes him look like more of a douchebag because if you're gonna say something is significant enough to where it should be on this wiki, but then you're going to also erase it and not even bother trying to put it on the pages that you claim it should be on. It's just weird. It's stupid. So yeah, that's another wiki I won't be touching again. Like I said, I don't have a problem with stuff getting deleted. I have a problem when stuff gets deleted over rules that people pull out of their backside. They just like invent a reason to have a problem with something. Because I was explaining how that's really dangerous when you think about it. Like I could sit here and make a wiki and it could be called, I don't know, YouTube political commentators wiki. And then like you start putting trivia. Oh, this person had 2,000 subs for 5 years or something. Just and I delete them like, uh, I have decided that this would be better suited on this article. Like, well, where was it said that we couldn't post stuff pertaining to this person's number of subs in their trivia? They just make up stuff as they go along. And that's really disturbing because if what's the point of editing a site where if someone just decides that this shouldn't be here, they can just get rid of it and you're like I remember when I was on Wikipedia, I always thought it was so interesting how when people would delete something I posted, it was called like preserving an article or like reversing good faith edits because they always try to say, "Oh, you didn't do this to be a bad person," stupid stuff. But like, if I would get rid of something, I was called a vandal. I was vandalizing the article. So when my stuff gets deleted, people are trying to make articles good, but when I delete something, I'm vandalizing it. It's like it's just stupid. Just it's really weird. I already talked about the double standards of that dumb website, so I'm not even like that shocked. It's just really irritating because I try to go out of my way to just sort of not stir the pot, like not argue with these people and have a problem with them. And they just seem really hell bent on having conflicts over everything. Like pardon me if you're so angry about a trivia. I thought that was so interesting. How, like a trivia section on most of these sites isn't even the majority of the article, but it's like in both instances the place where like someone a mod decides this shouldn't go here, right? And then I'm like, well, I think this is BS, and then I leave. Like I said, I'm not a vengeful person, but when I saw how barren that wiki I left over a month ago was looking, I was happy. I smiled. It could be because I'm a sore loser. It could also be because I think that when I try to help someone or something and they like reject that assistance, I'm not going to pretend I'm not amused by the thought of it not working out for them. And also it's because I know that if I was in that scenario, I wouldn't do that. Like I can't imagine running a wiki where there's only maybe 2 or 3 people editing it besides me, or there's only really 1 person editing it besides me that, like, is actually making major contributions, like typing up paragraphs and stuff, and the way I reward that person for assisting me is to go and delete their stuff, is to blank out a bunch of things they've posted with no explanation, like, I just decide this isn't important enough to go on this site. I really hate that. But I don't know, it just seems like, these people just it's like they wanna control something and they're upset when they can't, I don't usually like to psychoanalyze, but I don't get the thought process at all, like, I just keep imagining if I'm running a site where somebody is making major contributions, I don't have to pay them, I don't have to do anything, just let them do their work, and they say, "Oh, there's this article where I wanna edit it and, I don't know, maybe post information about this." It's like I don't get why that would be a problem. I don't understand. That's why I was saying I don't understand this guy's thought process. Like I don't get biting one of the few hands that actually helps you with, you know, updating your like if you I'm not even trying to toot my own horn, but I did a lot of stuff for the one I left on Wednesday. Like stuff I don't even want to go into because it makes me sound, um I guess conceited to admit it, but it's just so irritating now. It never registers to them that, hey, this person might be someone that's worth keeping around. They might be a person who, if they do one thing, one type of edit I don't really find all that important or don't really agree with. Maybe I let it slide because of all the other stuff they've done. No. Like at least on WikiPiss, their excuse is that they have so many people that edit there, they can just treat any singular editor like garbage, which they do. Um, but when you're running a wiki where it's like maybe 5, 6, 7 guys edited, it's like, come on. And then like only 2 of them are actually typing paragraphs and constructing article. It's like I don't understand. But that's why I said online, people are just never grateful for anything you do. And you see a lot of it reflected in YouTube as well. I mean, I told you people will demand that you make a video and say they're so excited for it and when is it coming out, and then you put it out and they don't even watch it, or if they do, they don't even leave a comment. So a lot of the same lack of appreciation is kind of just found everywhere. It's just even more disturbing with the wikis because like there's almost no way I'm benefiting from that at all, and I would just do it out of just liking the topic, and they would try to take advantage of that by telling you what you can and can't write, and um again, like only after you've edited something is it now banned or illegal, and there was no way of you knowing this beforehand because when you read the rules it wasn't there. I still think it was funny that he deleted my edit on trivia, like just like some sentences or whatever, but then the person who literally stole stuff from another wiki, like copy and pasted on his, he was like, "Oh yeah, we can keep this." I just thought that was so weird. So I said, I don't understand these people at all. They can have their terrible website. It's just really unfortunate that people act this way. Like I don't understand. But this does go back to another issue I have, which is that I do think people online feel more powerful when they do screwed up stuff. Like I can get away with this because I'm on my computer. So maybe that's part of why they act like this. It's just kind of weird because these are mods. Like they want people to contribute to their garbage, website they're running. And like I never actually really see them contributing themselves. Like I noticed another pattern when my stuff gets deleted is that if it's done by somebody, overwhelmingly it's a person that doesn't even edit the article that they're policing. Like the one like when they come and delete something from you, that's the first time they've edited that in years or at all. Like it's so weird. So I said I'm just so grossed out by these people. Like all they do is look for ways to just pick a fight with you or do something that screws over what you were trying to do. And it's just I don't need it. That's why I left Wiki pissed. That's why I'm leaving these wikis because I don't I actually value my time and I'm nobody's doormat when it comes to contributing to stuff. If people want to act like this, they can do it on their own accord. So I did not make a single edit after that guy rolled back my stuff. I would come back periodically just to see what was going on, right? Because I kept like there was a temptation, like, hey, maybe I should give them one more chance. And I was like, this is a really stupid wiki where the guy that runs it isn't even trying to like add articles or make the site any bigger. If he barely types anything himself, and if he does, it's usually deleting something somebody else wrote. So I'm not even just gonna even attempt to get invested in this stuff. So the hell with it. Just got tired of the rudeness. So one of the highlights of the upcoming edited video is that I mentioned where men are set up to take the fall when a woman does something screwed up during their, I guess, attempts to, quote unquote, get to know each other. And there was a broad that spoke sexually to me about a week ago. If you saw the video from October with the one that I had the audio of, it's pretty much identical to that. You're talking to this person and they start saying, certain stuff. I was thinking to myself, it's so interesting how when I first got on Discord, and even now to an extent, there are these chicks that it's like they come in two different extremes. You have chicks who will meet a man on there and they've just met this guy. They don't know him outside of this one server they're in. And within a day of meeting this guy, they will talk sexually to him and flirt with him and say all this other gross stuff. I've had that happen at least 3 times. I take it back at least 4 times. Um, then the other extreme are these chicks that play like they're cowards, like they're just afraid of everything. That's why I mentioned that when I first joined Piscord, I had some broad that tried to like me to me because she was saying that she felt uncomfortable because I asked her what her interests were, even though people ask me that all the time, and you don't see me filing a police report. And it was like I don't get how on the same website where chicks are so afraid of you to ask them what their interests are, they can sit here and speak disgustingly to men they don't even know. That's a nice little like duality. Like some of them are so gross and horny that they'll talk like the way that the one in October did to some man they've never even met before. Um, or they'll try to do the Me Too stuff of, oh, he sent me a DM. I'll give you an example. I was in this call with this woman this is the same one who was friends with the broad that said she wants to snap a kid's neck. Just that's the kind of morality of this person. And she was talking about how there was a guy that was in the server who made a pass at her, even though he's married. And I said, "Oh, are you going to go on CNN and tell your story?" And I had some people laugh when I said that. But my point behind saying that was, you're in a call with someone that you don't like, that you are disgusted by. Why can't you just leave? If you're in a server and you're in a call with someone you don't like, just press the red button. That's it. and block them. Like, you never have to speak to them ever again. That's why I wasn't sympathetic. It's not like you're at your place of employment or this is your next door neighbor. No, this is some random guy on the computer. Just turn them off. Like, you choose to speak to these people. That's why I couldn't take it seriously. It was like, if you were so disgusted, just go away. By the way, the one that said the gross stuff last week sat in the call with me for like I think 6 or 7 hours. Like a long time, like all night, damn near uh not this Friday, the one before this Friday. So the Friday of last week. So not yesterday, but like 6 or 7 days ago. And then like she's barely saying anything to me during the week. I don't really care anymore because I mentioned before, I'm basically like done with chicks. Then she invites me to like join some call thing and then she does some weird stuff and leaves and I leave and then I'm like, I can't believe you do this to me, like as a joke. And then she unfriended me. And it was really funny because I was just thinking about how a lot of times with chicks online, if I meet them on Piscore, I don't see what they look like, but sometimes I do. And she is definitely the least physically attractive of any of the ones I've spoken to in that type of way. She's definitely the one that looks the worst out of them. And like I said, man, um, I don't feel bad about saying that because it's like people attack me over my appearance all the time online. So I have the right to say, hey, this woman that was had a crappy personality didn't really look too hot either. So that's that. Dude, it's really funny that like chicks that aren't even, I mentioned that like a lot of guys online and a lot of even some chicks online try to pretend that every woman that rejects you or does something that is unbecoming of being interested in you is like this supermodel and they're all out of your league. It's like, no, some of these chicks aren't even, I mean, like, I don't want to call anybody ugly because I don't think she was, but I'm not gonna lose any sleep over like the idea of never being with her. It's not that doesn't bother me. I just think it's weird to sit there in a call, but that's why I said earlier that chicks really like to just waste time, like talking to someone for hours just to get rid of them a week later after you barely said anything to them throughout the course of the week after that. It's such a weird dichotomy. Like what and again, we always go back to that title of that stream. What was the point? Like what's the purpose of doing something like that? I'm going to invest all this time in the person that I'm not actually interested in being with, and I'm also going to drop at the first time they do something I don't like, really? So in the future, I just try to avoid speaking to them. Like I really do go out of my way to just stay away from because nothing good comes out of it. They tell too many lies, and I'm not in the mood to be like punished for being straight. We already get enough of that. Keep approaching women until 2050, and then a magic woman will like you. Oh yeah, me and my friend have this. I was pointing out how these chicks are all over the world. Like you had the one that agreed to marry me that was from, and then she backtracked from Australia. You had the one that was talking the way she did in October, and she was from Argentina. You had the one that when she saw what my picture was said you're not as ugly, anywhere near as ugly as I thought you, and just nasty stuff. And that one was from Trinidad, and then you had there's another one that's from but we had this joke that we're gonna make a series called Time. It's gonna be called TWBI, Time Wasting Bimbos International, where they just like how many different countries can these broads come out of and still give you the same result, and then people still swear up and down they're not all the same. A place of origin may vary, result not so much. Damn, like I don't understand this at all. There's a guy on YouTube that does movie reviews. Um, and he's kind of it's like he does his reviews are both unedited and they're always almost always very long. Like you can count on his review to be over an hour long plus, and he just like sits in front of the camera, maybe with like a little picture of the thing he's talking about. And he was doing a review of I'm not going to say what movie it was, but during his review, he's like, I'm really tired of riding the nostalgia train. And I was laughing because I swear it's like no matter what the movie is, if it's new, he doesn't like it. He didn't like No Way Home. He didn't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scream. I mean, you can just go down the list. And it was like the way he talks, he makes it sound as if someone forces him, like someone makes him sit in the seat every time they make a new installment in one of these series that he says is like needs to die or whatever. Like, so when I was talking to my friends, I was like, "Oh, are you tired of riding the nostalgia train?" Choo choo. Because if you think about it, there's really no big Hollywood property that just was made and created and exists and is known that started about in like the last 10 years. Like you look at the Marvel stuff, all of those characters that are the main ones were all created like in the 60s, 70s, usually the 60s, because that's when Lee and Ditko were at the top of their game. Um, if you look at, I mean, DC, like every major character that gets a movie has in some cases been around for 80 or 70 years. Um, you look at for example Jurassic Park, that's in another movie next, was it this year? It's like, yeah, that's been around for 20 something years too. Like there's really nothing that is actually successful and is having this ongoing series of sequels that was made in the last 10 years. It's always something even like older than 20 years that gets, but it's kind of always been that way to a certain extent. I mean, when Batman 89 came out, it's like, yeah, that was one of the first superhero films, but major blockbuster ones. But it's like, even back then, Batman as a character had been around for what was that, like 50 years from the 30s to the end of the 80s. Like, hell, when the first Spider Man came out in 2002, Spider Man had already been around for 40 years. And that was after 20 years of James Cameron trying to make a movie with Sandman and Electro. So, it's just really interesting how like almost everything that's a big property is something that's been around since either before I was born or around the same time. Like that's really interesting just how everything is based around something old almost. That's a nice bit of irony to it. No, I don't even bother with this stuff sometimes. Like just thinking about them, like that's kind of correct that everything is based around something that's been around for decades. Like my best friend asked me, "Oh, when did Deadpool first?" I'm like, "Yeah, when that movie came out, he'd already been around for over 10 years." Like, I know it was in the 90s. So I think it was 92. I'm gonna look it up. And then he asked me about Suicide Squad, which was a big mistake because almost everything that's big in DC has been around for like at least 50 years. Like, pretty much after the 50s, you don't really get. It's like, yeah, you get the new Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and you get Barry Allen's Flash, but they're still based off stuff that's already at that point been around for 20 years. So even that is like dubious of an example of something new. I knew I got it right, 91. I didn't get the year right, but I got the decade right. I knew it was the early 90s. Also, we were talking about how Hollywood is like very aggressive and against males, like they call it the male gaze. But I'm just tired of like, why does every chick have to wear some old gender neutral, non attractive costume? And that's why when me and him were talking, we were talking about how, like, for example, I don't really like how to explain it. Carol Danvers is not one of my favorite heroes or anything. Like she's just whatever. But I thought the Miss Marvel costume that she had, the black leotard with the like boots that go all the way up to her hips. I thought that was a really sexy look. Um, and sure enough, he agreed with me. And I talked about how it's so sad that 10 years ago when they decided to make her Captain Marvel, they gave her this costume that looks like something a man would wear, and they cut all her hair off, damn near. Like it was just it's just so it's so sad because I was explaining to him that if Marvel wasn't filled with idiots like Jeff Loeb and all the rest of these people, Joe Quesada, it's like they could have really made Miss Marvel their equivalent to Wonder Woman. Like she has an attractive costume, is like physically strong. They could have given her own book, her own Rogue Scout, and they just always drop the ball on it because every 5 seconds they want to cancel a book or they want to not even bother trying to expand her lore. And that's one of the biggest problems I've had with Marvel as a company pretty much since the 2000s. Like you could say the 90s were the start of it, but it's like they're so afraid to make new things. Like they can't, and it's just not about replacing the old, but like there's a reason why if you look at a lot of the like for example, if you look at the X-Men Rogues Gallery, there's really no major villain that shows up after Claremont leaves the book. Um, he's the one that makes Mr. Sinister, all these other like I we can go down the list with him, but after he leaves, there's really no one that does like a revolutionary, oh my god, this cool new character. Like it never happens. So they kind of have to just keep relying on stuff he made to pump out stories. And it's the same thing with I mean, look at the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery. You can count all the villains that weren't made by his original creator, or I guess co-creator Stan Lee, on one hand that are considered iconic. It's like besides Carnage and Venom and Hobgoblin, who else is there? Out of the ones that weren't made by Stan. It's like damn near nobody. I guess you could say Jackal, but like I mean, he was just there to be a Deus Ex Machina for that Gwen clone, and then he got killed and came back in the Clone Saga, except not really. And then the version died, and then he came back for that Spider Island thing, whatever that was, that weird book that Dan Snot wrote. No, Marvel really dropped the ball on Carol Danvers. If they kept her in that sexy black costume and actually gave her a monthly book and villains and different like they could have done so much with her, and it's sad. I'll always find it hilarious that the longest running female led book from Marvel is literally Spider-Man with tits. His daughter in an alternate universe. Like that's so sad. Like you have all these great characters. You got Storm, um, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Like I just think it's so crazy how like they don't even try to give any of them their own stuff. Everybody's always gonna be part of some team. It's really sad. But I also explained that Marvel's just afraid to try new things because every time they do a book on some character that's never had one before, they just canceled after a few issues. That's why I was always pointing out how hypocritical it was for people to say, "Oh, Black Panther's such a great character and he's my favorite hero." And I'm like, yeah, because of the movie, because it certainly isn't anything he's ever done in the comics. Like I've explained before, his book got canceled 7 times. He just would not sell by himself. And even after the movie came out, nobody reads his comic. So It's it's just it's just such a bizarre thing where they just keep retreading the same ground and like they're gonna announce a new book tomorrow and it'll be canceled in a year or 2 years. Like because all they do is just make new books or launch new titles just to get rid of them after a while. A short while, I should say. Yeah, there are people that want the original Blade actor to come back. I would be all for it if he can still do the moves. I don't, like I said, I'm really I'm tired of the reboot train every 2 or 3 movies. Let's start over. You know. So if they wanted to have him come back and either say that was part of the MCU or this is like he got wandered into this alter, I would be completely fine with it. That's another train, the reboot train. Recast, rinse and repeat. Recast, retell, and repeat. It's the same like three R's. Recast, repeat, and recast, rinse, and repeat. Where they get somebody new. They tell pretty much the exact same story, except probably usually crappier, and then they just repeat it. That's what has me nervous about a new Green Lantern movie. If they try to do it as Hal Jordan again, they might make it worse than the 2011 movie, which already was bad. Like they'll be able to tread new ground with making something even crappier. That terrible film. Man, I really do love Green Lantern. Like I just think that that character and the mythos are so interesting, and they're one of the few. He's one of the few DC properties that's like really expanded as time has gone on with all the different Lantern cores, and like none of that stuff damn near has been adapted into anything. Like the Green Lantern cartoon, yeah, but again, that got canceled after one season for the dumbest reason on planet Earth. Um, and it just sucks that so much of that stuff people are never going to know about until maybe 10 or 20 years from now when they finally stick it in the movie. Oh, what an interesting character that doesn't even get anywhere near the attention he deserves. They have all those different rings and they don't get exposed or revealed anywhere. He's not even my favorite superhero, and I just really like those mythos. I like all the different lanterns with like the main ones like Kilowog and John Stewart and especially Guy Gardner. Um, Kyle Renner is all right, and it's like they don't even try to like use them in anything. It's so sad. Like Green Lantern literally I know we're in the era where everything has to be part of like the bigger DC universe, but Green Lantern could be its own universe by itself if they wanted to. They could have a trilogy about Hal Jordan and Sinestro's like fall to the dark side, which that was what they were gonna do before the movie flopped. They could have had a spin-off film about like the Blue Lanterns. Like there's so much stuff you can do with that is so sad that it never got off the ground. The only film that Green Lantern has to his name is this piece of garbage. This guy asked me, "Is there any reason to go watch the Green Lantern?" I was like, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool to see Deadpool and Black Panther's mom in the movie. Other than that, not really. It's just so sad, man. Like people don't even care. They're just like whatever. God, I just think it's so sad. I'm still laughing at us getting the Matrix 4 before a Spider-Man 4. I'm talking about the Raimi version, not the Holland crap. And I thought it was really funny because it's like, so the film series that has a pretty unambiguous ending where there's damn near no new story you could tell because like all the major characters are dead. That one gets a sequel, but the one where everyone is still alive, no, no, no. Okay, no, no, no update, no future movie. All right. I don't know. I feel like if like, and maybe this is just the fan in me speaking, but I think if I was in charge of Marvel and I could get most of, if not all, the actors back for something, I probably would, just like as an anniversary film, just like, hey, we acknowledge that this existed, that this was something that was around before we made our stuff. Because I don't know, everybody every time people are like, oh, No Way Home was the perfect send off for Andrew and Toby. I'm like, I don't think so, but whatever. A movie where they don't even show up until the back half. I don't think No Way Home's a good send off for any damn body. Like it's just this extremely crowded film where only maybe like three people actually get real attention. Because I already mentioned before that there's like a 30-minute segment where the villains just vanish from the film. Like just they just disappear and you don't know where they are. Nobody mentions what they're up to. And no, like I swear to you, not a single review for this film ever pointed that out. It was like I was on an island. I was like, no one noticed that besides me. I was like, where the hell are the villains? The apartment gets blown up and they just disappear in the thin air. Really? Oh. So I said some of the stuff people are accepting of, and I guess maybe it's the bitterness as well. Because you look at a lot of the stuff you like that people nitpick or criticize. It's like you guys won't criticize this, a movie that has five villains in it and they vanish from the apartment and they're trying to like they don't even have show any attempt at what they're up to. Seriously, if you watch the apartment scene and then you skip to when the three Peters are like making the cures, you would think all the villains were trapped in the Shadow Realm or some other like or the Phantom Zone or some other place where they couldn't harm anyone. Like it was weird. No, the Kotsky merchant left one comment, then he dipped. He made his cameo. It's funny because you think about people actually are trying to turn um YouTube into like the MCU where they make cameos on streams and they show up for like one scene or they say one thing and they dip out. So it's really weird. I'm gonna go on somebody's stream, write one comment, I'm gonna vanish, make my cameo. We're like, now you see me, now you don't. I already said before, a lot of the problem with this website is that people expect a lot out of you for very little. Like they just think you're supposed to do all this stuff to appease them, and then when you don't do it, they get mad. I'm like, guys, no offense, but please drop it. Like I always would mention how with certain channels they have editors and people that do stuff for them. That's why they're able to pump out content faster. It's like I have to do everything up myself. Like I stand alone. If I for example want to make an edited video, I have to write the script. I have to record it myself, obviously. I have to edit it myself. Like I don't get assistance with any of this stuff. So it's gonna take a little bit longer if I have to do all parts of it, almost always. I do really like this script. I think it's pretty decent. I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece or the most amazing thing ever, but I think that it would be a good video. Oh, it's so weird. I'm not even in like a mood to just upload stuff that much anymore. Like edited stuff, because it just seems like every time you do that, you don't really see any bump in views. It's like, oh, I got 100 views in this video. It's like, well, I can get down a stream. In fact, I actually talked about how there's this one channel that I don't watch them, but I like to like go and look at their thumbnails. This guy 2 3 years ago, all he would do was edit videos, edited hours long videos, and they would get millions of views. And now what he does is sit with these two, three, four other people in a Discord, a Piscord call for 5 6 hours talking about a video, 8 hours talking about a video. And sometimes the video they're talking about isn't even that long. Like they did a response to a review. I'm not going to say what movie it was. It was a recent movie that came out this year. The review was 14 minutes long. They spent 8 hours talking about this 14-minute video. And I was thinking to myself, like, his fans actually like this. They like this extremely, like, I've never done a stream that is more than 2 hours. They're doing 8 hour streams, and they get paid a whole bunch to do it too. Like they're getting all these and I'm like, who want like this is enjoyable to you guys? But I mean, people subsidize that stuff. Because I told you before, the main reason he does those types of videos more than he does the edited videos now is because he doesn't feel like editing. He's like, what's the point of actually working hard on something when I can just sit on Piscord with my buddies and fire up a stream and get paid even more in like quick, in like even quicker. It's like, damn. So I said, when I see some of the support people get on here, I don't understand it at all. I'm like, this person doesn't even make impressive stuff. Like, I remember one of the biggest issues I had with these explain videos where you'll have channels that will describe the plot of a movie or a TV show. Like, they'll make a video, the life of Goku explain. Like, couldn't you just watch the damn show? Like, that's weird. But like, people actually watch this stuff. And it makes me say, well, I mean, like I remember when I would do like for the what if video, I sit there and I explain, I think this might have happened. I think this could have been good, but this might have caused me some trouble. I go through like scenarios of what could have occurred based off of what has occurred. And I say, like, hey, these could have factored in the bad way. I try to like actually put some thought into it and just say, I would have been this amazing, I'm not going to pretend that that's a guarantee. But like, they don't even try to do anything where they put thought into it. They literally watch something, make a video where they read the script, and then get hundreds of thousands of views. And it's like, I don't get it. I really don't. And that's why I stopped doing like I haven't done an edited Dragon Ball video in a year, because it's like, what's the point? People don't watch. And if they do, they don't leave any comments, and that's why you don't see any growth. It's why you just sit there and get ignored by people who would, if their favorite person were to make the same video, shower it with thousands of views. Like, it's nuts. But again, that goes back to my thing of why I said this website is just run by crazy people. Like, just the stuff that they support, it's not even well thought out. Like, you're not even like explaining the plot of something is the equivalent of, I just think it's lazy. Whatever. That's just me. I just think it, like, there's no purpose behind it. I don't know. I think it's probably my second least favorite type of video on this site besides reaction videos. In terms of just stuff that I'm just like, what is the point of this? Like, I don't get it at all, man. This is bizarre to me. Imagine a Kotsky merchant writes a book on his life, and then I read the book and I make a video. The life of a Kotsky merchant. Explain. Like, couldn't you just read the damn book and learn all the stuff I did? Oh, people are so irritating with just what the things they like and support and back and finance. Like it's crazy. I just think it's really weird. It's like, what's the point of this? Anyways, I might as well explain what happened to Akatsuki Merchant. Um, because I was gonna mention it when we got some other people to show up, but I guess we're gonna be doing this stream with two people again. So the reason why, and this might still be the case for this stream as well. The reason why you're not seeing like Megumi or James or one of those other people is because they have been fixated on watching Morbius. This movie that's getting negative reviews, that is even having some people question the point of its existence. They have decided not to show up to my stream now on two separate occasions so they can go watch that damn vampire. I spoke to my best friend yesterday. I was supposed to talk to him at 7 o'clock his time. He's 2 hours ahead of me. He didn't call me until almost 11 o'clock at night. I asked him what the deal was. He said he was too busy watching Morbius about 5 times that day, from when the afternoon started at 12 his time, 10 my time, to when he left eventually at, that must have been like 10 at night. And I was like, what is so great about this movie to where people are like actually sitting in here and watching the same film back to back over and over again, just with, I guess, different audiences? Like, what? Because I went online, I read all the reviews. People were saying the movie sucks, but they're like, people are also going to see it and they're seeing it repeatedly. It's like they're fixated with, and I guess it makes a little bit of sense because the first trailer for that monstrosity came out 2 years ago. And it had a lot of misleading crap in it, by the way. We've talked about that on Thursday. And maybe these people feel like they waited so long that they need to like make sure their investment of time was worth it. But I've never seen that before, where someone just watches the same movie 5 times back to back. But then, like, the same thing is happening with James. He was at the theater all day yesterday. He was there for 7 hours. No, James, you can come in here and try to spin it, but the reason you didn't come to my stream on Thursday was because you were watching Morbius for 7 hours. You watched that movie almost 4 times back to back. You were at the theater all day on Thursday. When one showing would stop, you ask when the next showing, and then you get some new friend of yours to pop up, and then you go and watch with that person. So I know the reason you didn't show up on Thursday, because you were too infatuated with that damn vampire. And you didn't even sell me out for a good one. Like I think Twilight sucks, but at least it's a financially successful series. Who the hell ever wanted a Morbius movie? I couldn't believe it. So that's where you were on Thursday, over there watching Morbius 5 times back to back, living in the movie theater. Must have spent 60, 70, $80 watching that film over and over. And you said it was worth every penny. Talk about this is a modern masterpiece. Man, get out of here. The best movie of the year. Can't wait for the sequel. Talking about Jared Leto gave such a riveting performance. I don't dislike Jared Leto. I think he gets cast in garbage. Like I really don't like the first Suicide Squad. But again, like I'm good. Like I think the movie, from everything I've heard, it doesn't interest me in going to see it. Too many bad reviews. Like I went on YouTube yesterday. I must have watched 5 different reviews. Everyone either said it was bad, or they said it wasn't as bad as people said it was, but it wasn't anything good. Like no one gave a positive review out of all the people I watched. Well, Megumi, I'm going to also expose you. So the reason Megumi didn't show up to my stream on Thursday, and the reason he's late by almost an hour to this stream, is because he just got back from technically his 3rd consecutive showing, but his 6th showing overall of seeing Morbius at the theater. On Thursday, he was there for 6 hours straight watching Morbius on repeat. And then today he was trying to do the same thing, and then he saw I was streaming, so he left a little bit early. So that's the reason that you and James didn't come on Thursday, because you saw me out for that damn vampire, and not even one that actually is commercially successful like Edward Cullen, who, by the way, is now playing Batman, which is why James was so excited, because the other vampire got to play a superhero. But I'm very disgusted with both of you. At least, like, if you're gonna just ignore my stream, watch a good movie. Like, if it was Infinity War, or Endgame, or even like with No Way Home, I would just, all right, whatever. They're watching this like big, huge event. Like, when did you ever say I can't wait to see Morbius? But when that film dropped, when it came out on Thursday, you sat at the theater all day, multiple showings. It was like you were in a trance. One showing ends, you go and ask, when's the next one? And then you give them the money, they give you your ticket. And it must have been fun sitting in an empty theater for that long. I couldn't believe it. You guys pimped me out for Sony and their ridiculous vampire movie. For Sony and their Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe. I mean, this is a hell of a betrayal. And look, and Megumi, you can put LOL and you can laugh, but remember, Morbius technically came out yesterday, April Fool's Day, because they knew the movie was a damn joke. So we got the last laugh, and we see those box office returns and those negative reviews. That movie was getting such bad reviews. Sony imposed a 23-hour embargo, meaning that if you were a professional critic, you couldn't put a review, or else they would come after you. They did. I was sent. I'm not going to say who it was because I want to get the employee in trouble. But I was sent security footage in a Google Doc of James sitting in the theater watching Morby piss for 6 hours straight. They showed it where it ends one showing, then he goes to this theater, then he goes to that theater. I was like, what is so amazing about this film? And they both did it. They just sat in there all day watching that vampire do this and jump around. And then they had that garbage post-credit scene. Look, it's Vulture. Oh, I don't know how I ended up in jail in another universe. And then in the next post-credit scene, somehow he has his armor, even though the armor should have. I guess he made it in like 5 seconds. Morbius, even though you're supposed to not be a villain, let's do something villainous, like team up against someone that didn't do anything to you. Yeah. That movie's trailer should win an Academy Award for being a deceptful piece of crap. In that trailer, they had a picture of Spider-Man. They call him a traitor. That's nowhere in the movie. They have an Oscorp label that had people going, "Oh my God, Andrew's going to be the Spider-Man," and that's nowhere in the movie. Like, what the hell? And then they make it seem like Vulture is going to have multiple scenes and be some supporting character. He doesn't even show up until the end of the stupid thing. Well, I'll actually go see Sonic 2. I'll take that any day over the damn goofy vampire that only got a movie because Sony's too desperate to give up the Spider-Man license. I've never seen a film before, at least out of any of the major superhero films that have come out since the internet's been around. I've never seen one that's just hated by everybody. Like this thing is. I think it'll be one of the few. How to explain it? I think this is the worst film that Sony's been involved with since TASM 2. And honestly, if you ask me which is worse, this or TASM 2, I wouldn't even. I'd really have to struggle with it. Well, look, Megumi, you can pretend it's your first time hearing about it, but when you looked in your wallet and saw what was that, $100 less, and you knew that theater experience you had of going to see the same film 3 times back to back on Thursday and today, you know all about that movie. You should be able to recite every line. So you can pretend this is your first time hearing about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were in a, you were offered some kind of like compensation fee for as much as you spent on that damn film. 6 times in 3 days. I mean, I don't even know what the point of that was. Like, why does this even exist? And like, oh, we're gonna get a Sinister Six movie. Like, I don't know who the hell is gonna be on the team. Like, I guess Vulture will be there and the Morbius, and then like you can't use Mysterio because you killed him off like an idiot in Far From Home. So who the hell else is there to use? The only way I'd be interested in the Sinister Six movie is if they use Molina and Defoe and have them play Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Other than that, you can have it. It's funny because Sony's been trying to make a Sinister Six movie for like 10 years. It's never coming. Like, I still remember the TASM 2 trailer. Ooh, Doc Ock's tentacles and Craven's spear and what's the other one? Vulture's wings. And then nothing ever came out of that. It was just there. I still think it's like really insane that the guy that played the like main villain of the TASM movies was the guy that killed Bruce Lee's son. It's just very bizarre. I was like, I wonder who this actor was. Oh, damn, this got really dark. It's such a bizarre role. Like, all you do is just sit there in a black trench coat with your face obscured and just walk menacingly and talking to deep. Like, I could do that. Hello, Morbius. I want to recruit you for my team of people that are upset with someone you've never even met before because the studio doesn't own the rights to this character and thus can't have you interact with him. Yes, the reviews for this thing are terrible. I have not seen a modern superhero movie come out that didn't have at least mixed reviews. Like, this is a record low. I'll be shocked if it's not a box office bomb. Like, I'll be really like, I remember I mentioned before when No Way Home came out and I saw it the Thursday before like its release. The whole theater was packed. People were screaming. Just all this excitement. You go to see Morbius. I'd be shocked if there's more than like 5 people in that theater. But here's the thing: even if you barely see anyone, a movie can still make a bunch. Like when I went to go see the new Scream back in January, I can count on one hand how many people were in there with me, and then somehow that movie still made over 120 something $1 million. I'm like, who the hell went to go see that? And remember, I saw this opening weekend. This was the day after it came out, and this is how many people were in the theater. That was the first time I've ever been in a movie theater, and I was the only one in there when I came in there. And it wasn't because I was so overwhelmingly early. Like no one came. I was like, where the hell are the people? It's like this is some 5 a.m. showing. This is like 11, 12 on a Saturday when people are theoretically like up and active. Like, what's going on here? So even if you barely see anyone there, there's like these magic ways that these films make back what they cost. They're so lucky that I didn't like if I was Sony and I wanted to make something on like a property I didn't believe in, because they didn't believe in Morbius because they wouldn't have to lie in those trailers if they thought it was going to be like real. But if I was them, I would give the director maybe like 5 million, 10 million, and then like that would be it. Like I would always, one of my favorite things about some of these studios is they'll purposely make something cheap so that if it fails, they can be like, all right, whatever, we didn't lose anything. We burn through 10 million all the time. When I went to watch the Sonic 2 movie yesterday, I don't remember seeing it being shown. Oh, did you like Sonic 2? Was it good? Only thing I know about the movie is the post-credit scene. That's where it's like they're gonna skip Amy and go to Shadow. It's like, really? Okay, whatever. I get he's more popular, but I thought they were going in order of introduction. I thought they were gonna save him for 4 or some second trilogy, but whatever. They can they do what they do. Hey, watch the third one be the last one. Because everything has to be a trilogy, remember. You can never do more than 3. 3 is the number everybody is so obsessed with. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. You notice that James not writing anything anymore, right? Because he got exposed. James, listen, if you can hear me, if you're still here, if you're not hiding somewhere, if you went to go see Infinity War or Endgame or No Way Home or whatever those movies are, I would not have been upset at all. I would say, hey, it's this event film. It only comes out once a year, whatever. But you betrayed me for a vampire. You betrayed me for a guy that can't even go in the sunlight. That's who you decided to stand with on Thursday. Everyone started going nuts when it revealed Shadow at the end. I honestly thought it was a decent follow-up to the first movie. Yeah, I've been hearing good things about it. I actually am excited to see it. Like, I can't say that about Morbius. I'm just telling you that I was a little surprised that they would go with Shadow before Amy because she's an older character. Like, but whatever. I thought they were going to do Metal Sonic. We can get our Sonic CD adaptation rather. I like how they only brought back one voice actor from the games. Like, oh, we can't have Knuckles be voiced by someone that actually played him for years that people like. No, we have to get Idris Elba. We have to get Thor's guardian that gets killed after being in like 5 movies and doing nothing. Yeah, shows a good balance of the Sonic and Friends and human characters. Dude, I thought the Sonic movies are gonna have the same problem the Transformers ones have. People were like, this is too focused on the human characters. This is too focused on the humans. Every time you put humans in a story, people just start losing their minds. They're like, you're taking away from the main draw. I'm like, can you guys relax? Thank you. James says nothing to say. Yeah, because you've been exposed. Like, you're lucky. I hope you don't make another video because people are gonna see that Morbius poster you have on the wall. So if you make a video, make sure to take that down. I just can't believe you would do this to me. This is the ultimate betrayal. You're lucky I'm a fair and honest and nice person because I would have unmodded you after that stab in the back. I mean, that's ridiculous. First, you saw it by yourself. Then you saw it with your parents. Then you saw it with your sister. Then today you saw it with your next door neighbor. I was like, how many times is he gonna watch the same movie? So that's why you didn't show up on Thursday. You're over there watching that film on repeat in the theater. You were there from I actually had somebody that did that where they came to my house yesterday and they were on my in the living room from 10 in the morning to 10 at night. Like, can you go? Like, you would think they were glued to the seat. Like, just leave. Like, I don't like you. You're annoying. So that's like a thing where everyone was just one place all day long on Thursday. They're on house arrest. Even with me, like, I don't even have a car, and I always make sure I go somewhere because I just have to get some fresh air. Like, it drives me nuts just sit in one spot and don't see outside at all except through the window. If you like the first movie, I'm sure you'll like Sonic 2. I don't think we'll see Amy. She may be skipped. That really does suck because I like her. But you know what? Megumi, here's the counterpoint to that. If you remember at the end of the first one when they have Tails, there was nothing that indicated, oh, yeah, they're definitely doing Knuckles in the next movie. So maybe she'll still end up showing up. I'm just saying it seems like they tease one and then they could put the other one in there as well. I'll be really irritated if she doesn't show up. That's insane. That's one of the longest running characters in the whole series, and you skipped her. I'll be ready to curse out the director. Like, what were you thinking? Isn't it sad that people are more excited for the movie than the act? Like, this is a video game series, and nobody's even excited for the game that's coming out. I just think that's really funny. Like a series that started off with video games, nobody even cares about them anymore. Like I hear more stuff about, oh, who's going to be in Sonic 3? And I hear about, oh, in the next Sonic, like no one cares anymore. I just find that really funny. Like just how skewed stuff is, you know? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Sonic 2 received mixed reviews. But like I said, these are at least mixed reviews are still better than negative reviews, which is exactly what Morbius is getting. Like I swear to you, I have not seen a major studio released film get reviews as bad as this movie as far as I can remember. Like just going through all the different films I've ever seen that and been privy to on the internet. Like I don't know of any that were this big where a studio spent millions on them and they just this sucks. Like everyone's united in disliking it. I'll be shocked if this is not a box office flop. I will be stunned because I haven't heard one word about Morbius 2 because they know it sucks. Hopefully we'll see her. And I also was thinking that too. Most people seem more interested in the movie than the actual Sonic games, hence the new upcoming Sonic game. Yeah, what's it called? Frontier. I haven't heard one person say, "Oh man, I can't wait to play it." No one brings that up. But you know what? It's so weird because there's like a lot of Sonic media that's decent, like the Archie comics run with like 200 something issues. I thought was really good, and I was so disgusted. Like that was the longest running comic book based on a video game character. Period. And that should have been like Sonic's equivalent to Marvel. Like that should have gone on forever, like one of those. Like how do you have a book that goes on for 20 something years and then you cancel it? I just thought that was insane. Like that didn't make any type of sense. But that was the main thing I liked of Sonic besides the games. And then, like most people just played the games or they saw Sonic X or something. And then the films started getting made and, attention shifted entirely to those. And then the games became an afterthought. My favorite game ever related to a movie is the X-Men The Last Stand game where it's a prequel to the movie and it tells you what happened to Nightcrawler. I'm like, why can't they just tell me in the movie? Why do I have to sit through this long game? And the answer was so lame. Professor X was like, so Nightcrawler, would you like to join the X-Men? He goes, no thanks. And then just walks away and leaves. I was like, imagine how lazy you have to be as a writer. We're like one of the main characters from the last movie isn't here, and the real reason he's not there is because the guy didn't like putting makeup on, all that blue crap. And instead of just saying he's busy, he's out of town, he's a different city, oh, go play the game and you'll find that. No, to hell with that. The Sega do have a reputation of disappointing their true fans, though. Yep. No, I'm not excited for that game at all. I mean, the biggest problem I have with the modern games, besides like legitimate crappy gameplay, is they're like really afraid to make any to like. So here's the thing: the first games I was playing were like Sonic Battles, Sonic Heroes, Adventure 2. Like that was the era where they were like always trying to put in multiple different characters to play as. Now it just seems like they're afraid to let anyone that's not Sonic be playable. Like if you look at every game they've done since Sonic Unleashed, you can see a direct trajectory of it making it to where you damn near can't play as anybody. That's why this one guy said Sonic and Dragon Ball Super have one thing in common: they hate their own characters. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Just I just think that after a while, you start to get tired of never being able to like because in my opinion, when you don't use any of your other characters besides they're in cutscenes and they're like whatever, I just start to feel as if the games become more generic because this new Sonic game is coming out. I can't wait to only be able to play as one character for the ninth game in a row. You know, I don't know. It's just my opinion. I just get tired of like everything has to be the exact same. Where you want to play as this person? Maybe in 10 years when we finally get over our fear of using other people. Like I don't even know how many games it's been. You had generations and it was like that where it's like you can play as him or the classic version. Like, can they just? What is wrong with them? Like, why are they so afraid to let you play as other people? And it's not even like they're missing basic characters. They can't even play as Tails anymore. Like that's nuts to me. Well, remember we already like did that joke when we were talking about Super Smash Flash when are Shadow and Vegeta coming, when are Eggman and Frieza coming, when are Boo and Chaos coming, when are Amy and Gohan coming. So yeah, they're like they are. We already explained like the different similarities that they have. I guess I shouldn't say different similarities because that's an oxymoron, but just the similarities that they have with regard to certain characters. And I mean, we already been over this. Like, Super Sonic is based off Super Saiyan. Like that, everyone knows that. I remember every time they would update that game. When is Shadow and Vegeta coming? When is Shadow and Vegeta coming? When is Shadow and Vegeta coming? They're lucky they already had Tails and Knuckles and everything. When are Tails and Krillin coming? When are Piccolo and Knuckles coming? When are Gohan and Amy coming? Like I don't get them at all. They're just they hate their own characters. In Super, the current arc in the manga, it's the same thing where it's Goku and Vegeta. I've never seen that pairing before, and they're trying to stop some guy that wished himself be more powerful because he wants to get revenge on Frieza, so they can have Frieza in like a ninth arc. Like I'm good. I keep forgetting that we're even getting a new Dragon Ball movie. Like I'm just so jaded toward that series now. When's this stupid movie coming out? April 22nd. Like it's sad. We got a new Dragon Ball movie, the first new Dragon Ball animation in almost 3 years, and I don't even care. So I'm just like, whatever. Like they can make it. I'm just gonna, roll my eyes. I still think the Tournament of Power is like as time goes on, showing how unimportant it was in the grand scheme of things. Like imagine making 60, 70 new characters, right? In the story. And at the end of the story, all of them are still alive. And then you have now multiple years have passed and you never use a single one of them ever. It was like, what was the point of making all them, I'm trying to remember what were the villain pairings? It was when are Eggman and Frieza coming? When are Chaos and Boo coming? When are Metal Sonic and Goku Black coming? I remember I used to say, when are Metal Sonic and Cell coming? Because they both have the thing of like being a copy of the protagonist, sort of. I don't even know who you could pair Cell with. Oh, when are Cell and Memphilis coming? Because Cell is like all of their DNA, and then Memphilis is a copy of Shadow, which Cell technically is to Vegeta because he has his DNA in him. So I just like all those different pairings. Like this character's like that character, this character's like that, and I can always explain like how they're analogous to each other. When are future Trunks and Silver coming? Oh my god. I feel the antagonists of Sonic Heroes were well implemented. Yeah, that was a fun game. The only time I didn't like that game was playing as the Chaotix because I just thought some of the missions were insane. Like, oh, you have to kill every enemy that you see, all these robots. Like, man, come on. I just want to get through a level. Hey, what are some more comparisons? Who disappears from Sonic? Oh, when are Launch and Mighty coming? Because they stopped using Mighty during the like Genesis days, right? That armadillo. And then no everyone like always jokes about how Toriyama forgot who Launch was, the chick that her hair turns different color. I'm telling you, they're more alike than people give them credit for. Was a good change into the Sonic game. Well, that's why I said that I liked Heroes because it was different. I mean, like everything now is every game. I'm not even joking. Every game since Unleashed came out is him just running forward, or you can barely play as anybody that's not Sonic. It's almost always just Sonic by himself, and I'm not interested in that. Again, like when Unleashed came out, I liked it, but knowing what we've had since then, I'm kind of tapped out as far as like there's really been no variety. So that's my biggest problem with it. I'm not saying the games suck because you can't play as other people. I'm just saying I would like that option again. That's why the games I tend to replay the most are, if they're not the early ones, like the Genesis ones, then like Adventure 2, stuff like that. It just seems like after '06, they were like really afraid to use the other characters in the game. Like very, very afraid, like a paralyzing fear. It's like, can you guys relax? It's not the end of the world. I'm sorry, I've never seen two series that are just perfect examples of hating your own cast. Well, Sonic '06 was a huge disaster from a technical standpoint. Yeah, they rushed out that game for Christmas of that year. I remember I was there. Sonic is back. It's like, no, he's not. But my thing is, like, I don't believe that how to explain it. I think they learned the wrong lessons because they still make games that people don't like. So like, I think their biggest thing was, oh, we can't use multiple characters because people did criticize the story, but nobody was mad that other people were in there. I didn't really mind the story. Like I really I think the romance was weird, but I like Memphilis. I thought he was a cool villain. The only one to ever actually kill Sonic, and they got reversed. That game had a lot of potential, and they just like they were too lazy to realize that they were trying to get the game out before it was finished. Because if you hear some of the stuff they had planned, it was really cool. I heard there was a new Dragon Ball game being released sometime this year. I think it's that game that people are saying is a ripoff of Dead by Daylight, where you play as some human and you have to like stay away from Frieza, Cell, or Boo, or some kind of it's something goofy. Let me go look. I'm not excited for that at all either. Spoiler alert. Let's see here. Dragon Ball video games. Come on, Wiki Piss, help me out. Yeah, Dragon Ball The Breakers, a survival game. So there's your answer. I can't wait to run around. I mean, I give them credit. At least it sounds different from all these damn fighting games. Like I'm really tired of having a series that had all this adventure in it, and you don't even get to do that in any of these damn games anymore. Like you had Dragon Ball Sagas, which was bad, and then you have Kakarot, which is like whatever. Like how I think it's so weird they can't just make a game where you can play as whoever you want. You can just go through. It could be the events of Z. It could be a new story. Like I don't know why they can't just do that. It's just it seems so simple to me, and they're afraid to. It's so weird. Like every game has to be a fighting game with some gimmick. I remember when that what's that game called? What's that Dragon Ball game that came out in 2012? Let me see what it is. It was the first one to have character customization, and I remember being so excited for that. And then you play it, and it's like, oh, you can only play as a Saiyan, and you can only do. It was like what? I think it was it Ultimate Tenkaichi? Uh, yeah, it was that game. Yeah. I remember being so excited. You can make your own and then it was bad. That was so lame. Thank God Xuniverse came around and fixed that. You can make your own character, but it's extremely limited. It's like the hell with that. I just thought that was very like bland and boring. Like, oh, here's this character customization that you couldn't even make a woman. Like, I don't know who told them that was a good idea, but that customization should just never be in anything ever again. If it's that limited, don't even bother with it. Oh, I keep forgetting they're all strapped to the house. They can never just leave. And I keep forgetting about about superhero, the worst titled movie of all time. I just can't believe it's really coming out in less than 3 weeks, and I'm not excited at all. And I don't even like saying that because I don't want to rain on someone's parade and say this movie's probably gonna suck. But I don't. I'm not. I'm not excited. It's just kind of there. Like it looks okay, but I don't know what the story is, and it feels like it's just gonna be another. Oh, this movie is about Gohan. Yeah, it would be the first time you guys tricked me into thinking you were gonna do something with him. So we'll see when it comes out in 3 weeks how accurate that is. I don't know, I'm just tired of this stuff taking so long to like do something different. Because Toriyama and Toyotaro have this like weird hard on for Goku and Vegeta. Like that's why I don't I can't buy into the idea that they're gonna make a movie about Gohan. I don't buy it. I hope I'm wrong, but again, I've been observing them tricking me for too long Give him the benefit of the doubt. It's just such a shame, man. That series has so many good characters, and they just focus on the same two over and over, and nobody else. Like me and my friend were talking yesterday. He mentioned how Piccolo was really cool because of the special beam cannon. I was like, well, he also has the ability to shoot lasers out of his eyes, to grow larger, to make his arms stretch. Like he has so many unique abilities that you almost never get to see because they don't use him. He stands out very visually, like just forget him being green. Like he just stands out from an ability standpoint from pretty much any other character in the show. Like the only other character that can just stretch their arms is Boo. So like I just think it's sad that he's like a visually interesting character with unique abilities, a good backstory, and just they don't do anything with him, which I feel may never be released. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just I'm just tired of like editing videos that people don't watch. That's why my favorite chapter of Super is I think it's 52 where these siblings come to Earth and Piccolo just beats them up. It was so amazing. Like that, I love that chapter. Like actually let him fight someone and win and like not need help and just wreck a whole group of people. It was so cool. Yeah, if that video doesn't come out, you know the reason why. I'm just fatigued with making edited stuff. Like every time I do and I upload that thing, I'm like, oh well, I can't wait to see how poor this performs. Woo! I see what you mean though. I heard when you mentioned hardly anyone watches your edited. Yeah, like if I'm only gonna get 100 and something views or even less than, I have some that didn't even get 60 views. I'm like, this is stupid. Like writing a script for a video and taking the time to like get all the pictures, edit the audio because I sometimes stutter if I read the script. I make sure that's out of there. It's like that really does piss me off because you're putting more effort into this stuff and there's no result being seen here. So that's the reason you don't get that type of stuff that often. Because I just don't think it's worth my time to like make such an investment in something that people don't check out. Someone else uploads the same thing and gets tens of thousands of views in a short amount of time and a slap in the face what you're trying to put out. Yeah. I'm just saying that like on this website, people expect a lot of effort out of you for very little results, like for almost nothing. Like they don't even bother to mask the fact that they're probably going to avoid actually watching the thing that you put out or put time into. Because rest assured, when I make an edited video, I always have a script. I don't just fire up my phone or camera or whatever and just start talking. And sometimes I could spend several days writing that script, trying to read through it, proofread it, make sure it feels complete. And it's like when you add in, sometimes I can't record stuff because other people are here, which they are almost every damn day because you have somebody that works from home. It's like I don't know what else I can do. It just becomes such a big hassle to put out something that people aren't going to check out. But yeah, I did a video and I saw a bigger channel do the exact same video and it got way more views. And I was like, this is stupid. He said everything I said just after me. And it was like, this is dumb. And I'm not going to try to say he stole from me because I don't think, I own that idea, but it just really sucks that, you're expected to just kind of like, you're supposed to edit and put effort in the videos and then people don't watch it. You're supposed to just keep trucking along. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like there was a point 2 years ago where it seems like almost every week I was putting up an edited video about Dragon Ball. Like it was either every week or every 2 weeks, like almost just non. And I was like, it's so crazy how you're trying to like put this stuff out and put effort into it, and you're getting nothing from it because people don't care and they don't watch. So yeah, if you don't get the edited Chi Chi video, it's just because I'm tired of that saga of that like that cycle of rewarding people that don't even bother actually being invested in the stuff you make. I mean, it just seems fruitless to me. And by the way, I said before that I know a lot of channels, they don't even edit anything and they still get thousands of views. Like there's a channel where all they do is sit on Discord and talk about movies and they get a whole bunch of people subscribing and clapping them. But like, okay, you can say the algorithm, but my thing is if people are subscribed to you and they don't check this, because I can prove the majority of subscribers for most people on this site do not watch what they make more often than not, then like what's the point of any of it? I mean, if you're just going to be kept in this perpetual cycle of like, you know, spinning your wheels. This also brings me to my question on what are your views on Twitch in general. I'm interested to know, especially if you're just starting out. Um, I already said before, Twitch is a site where it's easier to get paid, but it's also kind of a douchebag site in a sense because I've seen people get in trouble on there because they have like I gave you the example. A guy who got banned on Twitch. He came back. He had a thing on there where if you donate to him, you can see your avatar on screen. Somebody made their avatar a man's crotch, and then he got banned again. But on Twitch, people actively fight each other for viewers. Like you're in a competition against everybody that's there, and you don't have that on YouTube. On YouTube, you're not encouraged to watch me and then ignore everybody else. So that's that's still one of the reasons I'm very reluctant to even bother with that site. I don't like Twitch that much. Like I don't like it as a thing to watch. I don't like it as a thing to just even consider going on because it just seems like there's nothing there. Like it's just gonna be a repeat of this. And it's I'm just like I really get tired of like all the stuff with these sites. They always have some cons to them. But yeah, over there it's way more competitive than here. Which should be disturbing because it's like you got all these people on this website and you think we're just gonna watch one of them. But now I understand why people say you have to love the process making videos even though you're not getting the amount of views you think you deserve. I mean, I like the process of coming on here and speaking about something, but it is annoying if you put see if I do a video where I just like talk into a camera, it doesn't bother me as much if it doesn't get them because I didn't like put that much effort into it. Like it's not I don't think it's that much effort to just come on here and speak. But if I write a script and edit the video and record it and cut out audio where I'm stuttering, like, yeah, I want more views on that. I don't think I'm wrong for wanting that. Like I said, no one on this website who puts up public content does not want people to watch it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be public. So unless I find some topic that like really interests me and I have to talk about it, you probably won't see me make another edited Dragon Ball video. That sucks. The competitiveness just explodes on there, especially if you have some followers, as they don't even watch you. Well, barely. Dude, people will follow someone and just vanish. They just disappear. They disappear like the villains did in the third act of No Way Home. It's like now you see me, now you don't. I could never be on a website like that because I'm not egotistical enough to think I should be watched and other people like while other people shouldn't. Um, so that's the one of the biggest problems. I couldn't do it because I really don't like the idea of being the only person someone watches. Like just like on a huge, massive website. I see others who have about the same amount of followers and they are streaming the same game, but have so much more viewers. It's a weird system. And that's why I told you I don't know what I could do to stand out if people go on there talk about games or the news and then like you talk about you get like five people, someone's talking about the same, they have 500, like what else do you do? It just seems really damn impossible. Like I think the more you think about it, it just sounds insane because it is. Dude, it's gotten so bad that even when I get new subs, I'm just like, oh yay, another person that's either not gonna watch my stuff, or if they do, they don't leave any comments. Like, what are you even subscribing for? You know, like I actually do question them. Like, why did you press this button? It's because they love whoever that person is streaming that game for whatever reason. That has discouraged me in general by using Twitch and knowing the people who follow most of the time don't show up to the stream. But it's like that on here too, like with YouTube, where I told you that most subscribers don't actually watch your videos. But it's not as awful, in my opinion, again, because YouTube is not meant to be a competitive race for one person to just suck up all the attention from everybody else. But Twitch is. So if you add in most followers not watching you, and then like you having to try and get attention off of other people as well, it just becomes too much of a hassle. Like I wouldn't use Twitch unless I already had some built-in huge audience, because you can't go on there and expect to get this backing. Like I give an example, Hassan B. Like that's a guy who literally got his start from being the nephew of a guy that runs a channel with over 1 million subscribers. Like random people going on there and getting discovered is almost extremely rare. They usually have some kind of backer or some other thing they did before they even came on there that made them notable in the first place. So I'm just saying, don't expect to see me on there, because it's already a hassle being on here. I don't want another headache. Were you really upset when we didn't show up on Thursday? Yeah, because I was like, where did they go? And then I realized, you guys were at the movie theater all day watching Morbius. I was like, of all the vampires you just sell me out on, it's like like if you were watching classic 1950, what was that, 8 Dracula with Christopher Lee, I wouldn't have said a word. That's a classic, should be played all day long. But really, Morbius, that's the movie that you sit there and watch 5 times in one day? Okay. So I was very disappointed. That's what I was thinking when the stream started. And I was like, they're still not here. Are they watch not this movie again? It's like I hope they're not trying to get their 8th showing in the last 3 days. James was at the theater from 7 in the morning until 7 at night watching Morbius. Watching that vampire do his tricks. Talking about it had such a compelling narrative. He gave it 6 out of 5 stars. So he can't wait till the second one comes out. He's one of only 3 people on the entire planet that saw that movie more than once. You're gonna sit there and watch that train wreck. I don't know. It just seems like Sony is really like good about making stuff that only exists because they're trying to hold on to some film rights. Like I was explaining this to this other person. TASM only exists because Raimi left 4 and they didn't want to have the rights go back to Marvel. When did I say you have to show up to every stream I do? I expect that, but don't sell me out for a vampire. At least let it be a werewolf or some other animal or deity. And I was really shocked he didn't appear. I was like, he usually shows up. What happened? And I sent his sister a text message. She said, "Oh, he's over there watching that vampire movie for the eighth time." I was like, "What?" So that's how we found out what you were up to. So look, you've been exposed. Everyone knows who you are. You're a vampire lover. We're gonna be mailing you some copies of the Twilight books in a few days. You can look forward to that. So everything about you's been revealed. That's why you like the Batman, that new movie, so much, because your favorite vampire was playing. I still think it's funny how, like, I have to keep explaining to people that that's the same person that played the vampire from Twilight. I mean, hey, to each their own. I'm just really, like, disgusted that you would sit there and watch that film 5 times in one day, living at the theater. I don't think I've ever seen any movie in theater more than twice. Like, that's pretty much the maximum of times I'll go to see something. 'Cause I just get tired of people screaming and, being loud or whatever. Like, I just sometimes just like to watch stuff by myself. What about the sequels? What about the sequel? I mean, hey, if he wants to like it, he can like it. I'm not gonna sit here and condemn him. I know people that like a movie where, no, I'm not even gonna say it. Just when you know some of the stuff people like, don't even be surprised anymore. I don't mind watching Twilight. I remember it was recommended to me by someone I used to be friends with, and then you stop being friends with them after they recommended that to you. You're like, you thought we could be friends, and you would recommend something this bad to me? I don't think so. Imagine that's the plot twist, that, like, that was what caused you to stop talking to them. That's the end of our union. Oh, but after I do the what if I was a parent video, it's either going to be the romantic rejection comic book or how men are set up to fail. Like, you're going to get one of those two. If I was a chick, maybe. Dude, chicks will stop speaking to you over anything. Like, you could say, "Oh, how are you doing?" and then you get unfriended. I remember I mentioned the bimbo that was like she came to my channel and then didn't say anything to me for a month because she's working 50-hour week, yeah, whatever. And I was like, "Oh, hey, I've waited a month. Can you tell me if you want to still speak or not? Because I don't want to keep waiting." And then I got blocked. It's like, "Oh, you came to my channel. I've never even heard of you." Yeah, I just try to stay away from that. I had another one who was talking sexually to me. What was that, last week? Last Friday? I got to record it too. I don't think I'm gonna make a video on it because it's the same thing. It's a broad that says all this gross, nasty, I want you stuff, and then like a couple of days after that, she's barely saying anything to you, and then it goes nowhere. It's what they do. That's happened at least 4 times on Piscord in like the last 6 months. Like, you just go in a call with some broad, and I was telling my best friend about this. I met one on I think that was like Tuesday, Wednesday night, who was again saying that same gross type of stuff, and she's got a kid and apparently is married or has a boyfriend. I'm like, I could not imagine, again, hypothetical. if I like whatever, there are parents that date other people. I get it, but like I couldn't imagine being with someone or being married and then I'm on the computer talking to some chick about she can touch my shillelagh. You know, it's like what the hell? Like, I guess this is just what they do. They just come online and say weird, perverted stuff to people that while being with another. I don't know. It's strange to me. It's just bizarre. So I'm probably not going to end up doing a video on that other one, even though I could. I don't really feel like it really warrants it because you already know how stupid they are from the one from October. It's literally a repeat of that. The only difference is that this one tried to have a tragic backstory and didn't work out for her. Hey, every time a woman does something screwed up, you have to take the fall. Like you could talk to a woman, and then every time you call her in a good mood, and then she's like, "I just want to be left alone. I don't feel good." And then after you like give her space or whatever stupid thing they say you're supposed to do, she blocks you or unfriends you, and then you're like, "What the hell? I did what this person told me to do, and I still got punished." And then people online are like, "Well, you probably shouldn't have let her know that you wanted to speak to her because that showed her that she had control." It's like, what else are you supposed to do to show you want to talk to somebody? What is it you find strange about this? They're allowed to do these things that would otherwise be ridiculed if they were the opposite gender. Dude, imagine if I like not even married, if I had a girlfriend and then I go on Discord and I meet some random chick and I call him like, so I'll let you wax my banana. It's like, what the hell? Like that's weird that a person who's with someone is saying that type of stuff to a random individual they just met today, like a random person online. Now I might put up the audio of that other one because it's weird, man. It's bizarre. Hey, but every time a woman does something screwed up, you have to take the fall. You can do everything to appeal to that bastard. If it doesn't go the way you want, it's you that's the problem. You're always blamed for it. So I said, imagine if real life was like that. We gave the example of how if some woman stabs you, people would say, "Well, what did you say to her to make her do this?" They get away with everything. That's why I always think the guys that come on here and they're like, "Oh, you always blame the woman." Like I'm just the reverse of you. Like maybe if you didn't blame me for every damn thing, I wouldn't blame them for every damn thing. You ever think about that? Well, for starters, I'm very looking forward to your next long-awaited romance video. I don't know if the what if one, because the what if one kind of is about romance, like what if I was a parent, but it's not like I actually do address what I would do and why I think a kid would be better off with it than what they get a lot of times with these modern, joke parents that they have. Um, but I do like explain, how it ties into the romance stuff. Just like the whole matter of, one of those things that you don't get to do because a group of people who everyone swears are so different from each other kept having this like uniform unwillingness to even bother attempting any of this stuff with you. And then the few times it looked like they were willing to do it, they were trolling you. Like, oh, here's a woman that agrees to marry you. 5 days later, I got you. I'm not interested anymore. It's like, then why did you agree in the first place? So I said all they do is just waste people's time. That's them every week. They go and they find a way to like make you the culprit for their decisions. No, I think eventually I'll get more interested in doing edited stuff. I'm just kind of burnt out. Don't forget the why being a straight man is a bad. I still have that script in my Google Docs. I just want to read through it and see if it's all right. Like a lot of times I write something and I don't finish it. But it's still there. It's still something I want to go back to and revisit. But I do think you could make a case that the why, like how men are set up to fail video is probably kind of like that one. Like how they have a lot of stuff in common with each other, just as far as like I could do one that kind of is like the other. Plus, I just kind of like that title a little bit more, just because it's about people having expectations of you as a straight man that wants to get with a woman, and those expectations are oftentimes contradictory to how they view of what a chick should be. Um, and they put you in positions that are not befitting of someone who actually wants to be with someone who likes them for who they are. Oh, you need to go to the gym and exercise. Like, okay, so you doing this physical regimen that the woman never has to do is going to make her like you for who you are, even though your physical appearance is not indicative of your personality. It's just weird. I don't know. Just think about all the people that you would say you like or love. Like, there's been no friend I talk to that because they don't go to the gym, I don't want to speak to them. I didn't try to disown my mother because she doesn't go to the gym, or my dad or some other person. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? The same people who have these expectations don't even follow it themselves. Well, we've been over that before, that none of them ever show proof they do it themselves. But also, we talked about how they don't have a character arc. So if you were to do the stuff they tell you to do and you still get rejected, they're not going to say, "What's wrong with these chicks? This guy went to the gym. He became a millionaire. He lives over here. What's wrong with them?" There's something like, these bastards are crazy. They're not going to say, they're going to go, "Well, you probably did this. You probably did that. Anything we can say to defend the dingbat." Because again, it's always your fault. No one goes to the gym because to go get into a relationship, because they want to get in a relationship. Right, but I'm just saying that of all the people who have important relationships with you, how many of them go to the gym? Like, how many, like, does that actually influence you wanting to speak to them? Because if I think of like the 8 most important people in my life, you know, my mother, my dad, my grandparents on both sides, my brother, my best friend, like none of these people exercise, and I don't care. Like you still want to interact with them or still love that person. Like you don't like why do they have to undergo this physical thing for you to want to spend time with them? It's such a bizarre thing to think about. And it's like they want you to believe you're supposed to do that for a random chick who, I mean, is still not guaranteed to actually be interested in you, even if you do it. So it just that's why I said the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Magumi, imagine you buy a sports car and then you go up to a woman and ask her on a date. And what if she says no? Well, then you just bought that sports car for nothing. What if you what's a good example? What if you go to the gym to like impress chicks with your muscles, and then you go up and you approach chicks and they still say no? And or if you go online and you're like, "Hey, I have muscles," and you show them your muscles and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not interested." Well, then you just went to the gym for nothing. I remember when I made my relationship video, I said I did all the things to be getting $1 million. No one said anything. Well, I told you that it's so insane how we're always told to have introspection and look at yourself and work on yourself, but they never say this to chicks. That's another thing at the back of my mind when considering doing all these ridiculous things. It's not guaranteed to acquire their interest in taking them on a date. And remember, man, them going on a date is a hell of a smaller commitment than any of the stuff that's recommended to you. Like, think about this. Would you rather be the person who has to go on a date with someone that they don't have to kiss them, they have to make out with them, they can cancel doing any more of them if they don't like this first one? Would you rather be that person or the one that has to go to the gym, acquire some excess of wealth, approach multiple people of the opposite sex on different websites and places all over the world? Like, which one seems easier? It's the former, being the one that just has to be approached and asked out if they want to go on a date. Like, that's why I said, what the hell do chicks even have to do to get to, like, at all when it comes to romance, except just benefit from everything men try to do to appeal to their crazy selves? Seriously, what do those douchebags have to do? Well, they don't say it to women because we're the guys that are asking them out. Well, that's the thing. I got tired of being the guy that was asking them out and getting the same result and then being told that you're the reason it stays the same, even though you're the only damn person trying to actually make anything change. Don't worry, James. Magic Woman will show up and like you for who you are in 2030. I told you, most of those people that start like giving you that advice and telling you that you shouldn't feel this way, they don't know what it was like to put up with any of this trash. Like, and I'm gonna have a segment in the video where I talk about how, like with Triple L, it's like that's a broad who had two guys ask her to marry them by the time she was like 20. And it's like, you can't sit there and try to pretend you understand what it's like to have to sign up for multiple dating websites to try and get somebody to talk to you and show interest, and then they don't ever say anything back, or to go to the mall or to a different school or to some other place that you're just going so someone will show interest. Like, she didn't have to do any of this stuff. But she's supposed to be the expert on when a woman will magically get out of here. That's why I said these people are just like, they're jokes. I mean, I'm not mad at myself because I was the only damn person trying to make something different. All these guys online that flap their gums don't do anything except look for a reason to try and antagonize you over something that is so common that they have whole groups of guys talking about this. But look, I'm gonna get off of here because it's 2 hours. I want to try to see if I can finish the rest of this video while this insane person is not at the house, and I can like record it. So thanks for showing up. I'm gonna try to put out this video this week. It's delayed a bit by a bit because of writer's block and other, just like, I really cannot record anything damn near because people are always here. So thanks for showing up and have a good rest of your weekend.